And welcome back to Community Conversations. We've got a great episode for you. It's about a program that impacts right here in Concord and statewide. Of course, we're talking about Girls on the Run New Hampshire, and who better to have talking about Girls on the Run New Hampshire than their executive director. So Jen Hubbell, you're a first-time visitor to the Concord TV studio. You're under the bright lights. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And
very exciting.
Really exciting. And this it's funny, this all came about because we had met a board member of Girls on the Run New Hampshire, I believe, through some other event, who then made connections, and here we are now. So
actually, it is one of our 5K volunteers.
Yes, volunteers.
That's the connection.
That's
I was like, whoa, wait a minute, you're going to stump me already.
But it was someone who had made a connection and said, hey, you should do something with Girls on the Run New Hampshire. And for us, that's sort of just how we hear about other organizations. And I had actually heard about Girls on the Run through a friend of mine who volunteered years ago. And I didn't fully know what it was, but it's funny to kind of circle back, and now you get to tell us all about this incredible organization. So if you could start, Jen, just a little bit about yourself, how you got with the organization, and then just tell us sort of the mission of Girls on the Run.
Sure, thank you. So, boy, where do we begin?
I know, right? Yeah.
Back in 2003, my daughter was in 3rd grade, and a friend said, you need to sign Lindsay up for Girls on the Run. I was like, what's Girls on the Run? And signed my daughter up. They needed another coach to run the program. And I said, I'd be happy to. So I volunteered as a coach for 1 season, and I was like, wow, this is great. Fast forward 4 years later, and the job posting was in my spam folder, of all places, found it, and applied for executive director. There you go. Like history in the making.
Life finds a way.
Yes.
And that you got started being involved, boots on the ground, involved as a volunteer in the organization.
Exactly. And the organization at that point in New Hampshire was just 2 years old. It became a 501c3 in April of 2001. So it's kind of exciting to be involved right from the beginning.
So tell us just sort of what this entails, the Girls on the Run program. It operates at different schools, and it's an after-school program, right? But how does it typically operate?
Sure. So I think you already said that this is a national-based program. It's all across the United States. So what Girls on the Run is an after-school running program for girls 3rd through 5th grade. And it incorporates a curriculum with movement. Not just running, but movement. And it really is about empowering our young girls to become the leaders of their lives, creating a toolbox for them on how to manage the world and life.
That's great. Now, when you were first involved, when you first volunteered to help out, what stood out to you? What made you, because you clearly have always had really high praise for Girls on the Run, but what stood out to you was kind of this like, this is amazing. I'm glad that I was involved in this.
Yeah, it's for every single girl. Every single girl is welcome to be a Girls on the Run, and it's accessible and available, and it's just so empowering to see these girls of all abilities come together with a common goal of completing the 5K.
Yeah, I love that you said the word empowering, because I think a lot of just kids and young girls growing up in school have confidence issues, and that it can be a tough environment growing up in elementary school, middle school. So to have those role models to learn, kind of, you said like tools in your toolbox about how to just handle life, that seems so crucial at that age.
Yes, it's really tricky. You think about 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, before they get to middle school, you really want to give them confidence in being proud of themselves and confident in themselves that they are doing what's best for them.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Now, I touched upon the fact that we are a Concord station, so it really hits close to home that Girls on the Run New Hampshire operates in some areas of Concord. Could you, for our audience, tell us a couple of those different schools that are involved?
Name them all.
Name them all. Quizzing you.
Christa McAuliffe, Broken Ground, Beaver Meadow, Abbott Downing elementary schools all have Girls on the Run.
That is amazing.
I think that's all 4 elementary schools in the town.
I think so.
I think so, yeah.
Mike is our trivia guy on Concord. He can correct us from the back if that's wrong. But so Is that a situation where, like a lot of times, like the principal of a school is really a main driver of it, or does it sort of operate autonomously, or does it depend on each school? It's a tough question.
No, it's a good question.
Yeah.
It's we have some amazing tenured return coaches that come to us every single season, and I think Concord has a strong foothold on our state roster.
Yeah.
So we have a phenomenal volunteer at Broken Ground who ensures that there's great coaches that happen to be teachers each and every season, which is so helpful to us. And the coaches become more comfortable every single season.
Right.
You know, they know the girls, they know what they're leading them through. The curriculum is scripted. I didn't bring a visual aid for you to show you the book. Yeah. But it is school by school, they do have their own plan in securing coaches. That's the important part. And our reach is, as I said, to all girls. So financial aid is always available to every single participant as needed.
Yeah, that's a really important, crucial piece, that any girl any family that wants to be involved can be involved. Now, to kind of, we've gone probably almost 10 minutes now and haven't mentioned your website, girlsontherunh.org. Sorry.
Yeah.
girlsontherunh.org. Is that just for information? Is there any registration through that, or is registration through the school itself?
No, registration is through the website.
Okay.
So if you visit that, you will go down a rabbit hole of wonderfulness.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, click on all the links and you'll see what the program's about, what the details are, when the 5K is, how I can volunteer, what do we do, what do we, teach the girls.
Every element of it. And so people can go to the website to find out. But while we're on the topic, the 5K event, which happens right down the road at Memorial Field here in Concord, is a statewide gathering of all the participating programs, right?
Exactly.
And I'd seen something where there's one group that starts at 8 a.m. or something. There's two different waves, I guess, or whatever the term
Josh,
is.
you've done your homework.
A little bit, yeah. But so tell us a little bit just about I've seen some of the pictures and heard about the event. It sounds like one of those sort of this is why I do it type of moments, right? Tell us a little bit about the event.
So you're correct that there are two separate waves. The 5K is on Saturday, June 3rd. And because our council is statewide, reaching all 10 counties, there's no way we can have 1,700 girls, almost 400 coaches, and almost 1,700 running buddies.
So much to manage.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. Not just for South Fruit Street and the state complex across the street, which is where we run the 5K. And I'm not going to say race because it's not competitive. So for us to have two separate sections, it also benefits the participants. This may be their very first running race experience. So to have 3,000 people there would be a lot.
Overwhelming.
It really would. So this gives the girls a chance to shine, and every single girl does as they come down that parking lot at Memorial Field, where Concord High School kids park.
Exactly.
And that's where our huge inflatable arch is that says the finish line is just the beginning.
Perfect.
So great mantra as they head up, take a left, come back down underneath that arch.
And that's sort of the culmination of that year's program, right? That's sort of the last time you get together with your cohort or your group for that particular year, right?
It is. So it's a 10-week season in the spring, and it is the culminating event for the entire state. And they come together, they run together, they celebrate their accomplishment of choosing the right pace for themselves, and just celebrating, what they've done. Yeah.
That's always a thing in running. I know we have a competitive runner actually in the back here, Emmett. But it's always interesting with running that I've heard oftentimes you're running against yourself. You shouldn't be comparing yourself too much to other people, that what's the best I can do, or what's I'm not going to be too tough on myself or
No.
hard on myself. Is that part of the curriculum too, is understanding that relationship as well?
Yes, that's exactly it. And the curriculum is broken down into 3 parts, where the first set of lessons deals with the girls really learning about their person, that's the reflection in the mirror.
Right.
The second part of the lessons deals with teamwork and how they come together as their group of 15 to 20 girls. We do limit the team size so that every girl gets a chance to use her voice and be heard. And then the final set of lessons deals with community at large.
Right.
How can we affect our community and the world and make a difference?
Okay, that's a great point, that last, because that's something I wasn't aware of, that that's built into the curriculum is community engagement and awareness. Can you tell us more about that, or just some examples of what that entails?
Sure. So actually the girls are starting that right now, this week, in their lessons, is talking about a community impact project, where the lessons leading up to it talk about communication, cooperation, and how we can better our community.
Yeah.
And it's all girl-driven. It's not the coaches saying, let's do a food drive, or let's do something for the SPCA. So the girls come together and brainstorm as a team what they'd like to do.
That's great, yeah, because a lot of times you see instances where sort of adults drive okay, we're going to do this, but for the kids to actually be the ones who they're guided, right?
Yes.
But they're the ones coming up with what are we going to do. What are some examples, not to put you on the spot too much, are there any examples you can think of off the top of your head of what they've come up with in past years, or ones that stand out to you?
Well, girls always love a car wash, which is, we try to push that one away because that's tricky. They need to complete it within the confines of the lesson, so within 90 minutes on that lesson day. So teams have planted bulbs outside a school, cleaned up the school grounds, talked to their principals and asked if there's something they can help do to better the school. I know that one team once helped the janitor.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Just a little project. Some have raised money for the food bank. They've written letters to soldiers.
That's great. The concept of them thinking beyond just themselves, because that's an important lesson when you grow up, is thinking about the greater whole and getting beyond just yourself. So that's great that these girls are being able to build those skills.
8 years old.
8 years old.
Look at what I can do. Yeah, look at what we did.
There's a lot of people much older in adulthood who probably should have had that lesson when they were growing up, probably.
Yes, and so very often coaches will say, I wish I had girls on the run when I was in school.
Yep.
And it's like, guess what? You have it now.
Yes.
Because the ripple effect of the curriculum isn't just affecting the participants. It's affecting our coaches, it's affecting the girls' families, their community at school. Teachers will see girls interacting using Girls on the Run behavior and core values. So
that's pretty amazing. Holistically, that's a pretty amazing way to sum it all up right there.
Yeah.
So in terms of volunteering and coaching, how can, if someone wants to be a coach, wants to take part in their community, how would they go about doing that?
So best way is to reach out to us via the website.
Yep.
My email address is on the website, and I can direct it to my program director. We've been working together, oh gosh, she's been on staff almost 12 years, and myself almost 16. So we've got a good thing going.
Got a good team going on.
Add in a bunch of other part-time employees, and it's we have a really positive experience helping getting a new site started or helping secure coaches for a return site. So it's teamwork.
And teamwork, that's one of the lessons of Girls on the Run, right? So
Yeah.
what are some other ways that people in the community could, if they don't want to necessarily be a volunteer or a coach necessarily, how else can members of the community support Girls on the Run New Hampshire?
Without being a volunteer coach, which is a commitment, think about it, 10 weeks, twice a week, that can be a lot. We're always looking for day of volunteers for the 5K.
Okay.
We have one in the spring and one in the fall.
Yep.
at Memorial Field. We also have a fundraising opportunity called Soulmates, which is choosing a running or some other athletic endeavor or any kind of endeavor to raise funds for Girls on the Run.
Oh, okay.
Often there are openings on the board of directors.
Yep.
We have...
Those are great examples, though. Those are great. I mean, when you said board of directors, it's like, yeah, every nonprofit organization needs good board members. That's for sure.
Yes.
What was the other point? So you said day of for the race, that if somebody wanted to just help with kind of the typical 5K volunteering, you could certainly use help with that.
Yes, we need course monitors. We put a course monitor at every turn so that they have eyes on the girls. It's a very safe location we do this in. So course monitors, parking attendants, water stop people, setting up the team village, all this. So many little pieces go into that day, and it's fast and furious.
Yeah.
We'll be there at 5 o'clock on June 3rd in the morning.
Yeah.
And come back. It will be done by 12 noon.
And it goes in a flash. For any event manager like that, it's going to be over just like that.
Like Christmas or a wedding. It's like all
exactly.
that. All of that. And then.
Do you get a moment to sort of step back and kind of, I had mentioned a few minutes ago about sort of that, like, this is why I do it moment that I think anyone in nonprofit work has at some point. Do you have a chance to kind of sit back and go, this, or are you just running around doing things?
No. Lucky for me, with that wonderful staff I have and with the volunteers that step up for the 5K.
Right.
Yeah, we have, last fall we had, well, actually, for the past few seasons, we've had students from Concord High School sing the national anthem for us.
Great.
And that is a moment of pause where it can be very emotional to listen to the national anthem. Not a sound comes from, 1,700 girls, their families, the 400 coaches, the volunteers. It's silent at Memorial Field. And then to listen to that, it always gives me an opportunity to listen and look and see the participants just staring.
That's such a powerful moment.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible because for them, they know it's important. It's a big day for them too. So
and another part is when you see the girls come underneath the finish line, finishing with like the smile plastered across their face, and a parent running 4 steps behind to give the girl the moment of glory. And when you see a parent, eyes filled with tears, watching their daughter do this, that's emotional too.
What a moment, yeah.
And I get front row.
You do, you best seat in the house for
I really do.
And like you said, again, it's not a race that they're just running for fun. It's not like you're giving awards out or anything like that for the 5K race, or?
They are running for joy, I would say. It's for, it is for accomplishment. They set this goal at the beginning of the season, and they do get a 5K finisher's medal.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is very cool.
Everybody wants a medal.
And the girls get them. The running buddies don't. The coaches don't. This is specific to the girls.
Yeah, the girls get a medal.
They've worked hard.
And not just at,
not just at the 5K, but all 10 weeks.
Right. So I keep kind of jumping all over the place, but it's a 10-week program for just, so it's like 2 hours or 3, like, is it multiple days a week? Or
twice a week for 10 weeks. For 90 minutes each session. And there's a set structure to the lesson when the girls come together, where the girls get on board, learn the subject of the day, then do the warm-up, which is just an easy way to get their bodies moving. And then the workout is running or walking, and the time increases so that the girls are comfortable and ready for the 5K. We want to set them up for success, so they need to be moving for a certain length of time. And I slid the word in walking because that's important. We've got girls that run, we've got girls that walk, we've got girls that run and walk. We've had girls that participate in wheelchairs. We've had girls that participate who've had cerebral palsy. Yep. So this really is for every girl, and it's fantastic.
And they're part of this family, this I'm sure the alums of this program too, that once you've done it, you've participated, it's this supportive network of peers.
Yes, and it's wonderful to hear and see the alumni coming back.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, like these 25-year-olds that did Girls on the Run, I'm going to get my math all wrong. Like back when they were 8, and to see them in the grocery store. And yeah.
I was going to ask you that. That was going to be my follow-up.
Okay.
If you can tell us, just broadly about, you've had that happen like at the grocery store, like I was in Girls on the Run, or you must have had that happen just going around the community.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. And as often as I can, I feel like Mr. Rogers, what Girls on the Run shirt should I wear today? Right. But standing in the grocery store checkout line, and I'll see a girl just looking at me. Do you have this shirt? No, I have a yellow one. I'll say, so do I. I've got them all.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm just in awe. This is a really great program for us here in Concord and around the entire state. So we're really lucky. And thanks, Jen, for all that you do.
Thank you very much. I'm lucky.
Yeah, I think we're all lucky here. So I'd like to thank everyone for watching Community Conversation. This has been Jen Hubbell. She's the Executive Director of Girls on the Run, New Hampshire. And you guys, before I forget, are based out of 117 Water Street, Suite 9 in Exeter, New Hampshire. So make sure you check them out there or at girlsontherunh.org. So that's the contact info. Jen, thank you one last time before we wrap up. Thanks for being on the program.
Oh, you're welcome.
And thanks to everybody for watching Community Conversations. We will see you on the next episode.